It's called Water Wise Tigers, and it's going to be presented by a Leadership 310 team from last semester with Stacy Minson, Alan Dreith, and Ashley Templeton. And so they're going to give you some more information about themselves and about their wonderful Water Wise Tiger program. So thank you all for coming out.
Thank you, Vivian. Okay, we're going to start out just kind of telling you guys a little bit about ourselves. I know most of you, so I think it's going to be fun. My name is Ashley Templeton. I am pretty much a sophomore. I'm an organizational leadership major, and last semester we were in a 310 team together, Water Wise Tigers. You probably saw a lot of our signs and stuff around campus. We had a big basketball game that we did, a lot of activities within that and everything, and basically we're just trying to spread water conservation awareness across campus and hopefully get the students more involved and more motivated for that, because it is just such a big deal right now. So that's a little bit about me. I'm Ashley Wilson, and I'll let Alan tell himself.
I'm Alan Dreith. I was in the team, as she said. We also, I helped get the game together and everything, and I was one of the other two people in our group aren't here. They graduated last year, and that's why they're not here. So.
I'm Stacy Minson. I'm a watershed specialist for Kansas State University. So my job is water quality as it flows from here all the way to Canopolis Reservoir, which is a federal drinking water supply.
Stacy was our community sponsor / savior last semester, so she did a lot for us. So, we'll go ahead and get started. How long do you think that you can survive without food?
About 40 days.
About 40 days?
If you're, about.
Yeah? Okay. The average is about 3 weeks. That's what they say, 3 weeks. Gandhi actually survived for 21 days on complete starvation. So that's a little bit of an interesting tidbit. The average is about 3 weeks. They actually say 3 days in harsh conditions you can live. 3 weeks you can go without water. Or go without food, I'm sorry. Without food, I'm sorry. And how long do you think that you can go without water?
3 days.
3 days.
3 days, yeah.
It's about that, yeah. Studies have kind of shown that there could be some like 8 to 10 days, but that is like extreme. Your body's doing pretty good. Because 3 days is kind of the max. It's kind of like that 3 rule that you've got going on for environmental, like shelter and then water and food. So it's kind of a big deal. Definitely the drinking aspect of needing water. You can't survive too terribly long. And then food, obviously, everyone knows that we need water to produce food. So that is another aspect of why we need water. So why is this so important here in the middle of Kansas? The Big Creek Middle Smoky Hill River watershed spans over 2,400 square miles in 10 different counties in Kansas. So it's as you can see on the map there, it's definitely very widespread, and it covers a lot of Kansas. And so it's actually very depleted right now, and it's at risk of completely being depleted if we don't kind of change our ways and do something about it. So that is a lot of what Stacy works with the Big Creek Middle Smoky Hill River watershed. And then here's a few pictures. The top one is the Smoky Hill River watershed upstream, and I got both of these from the K-State website just because that is where Stacy works, and so it's got a lot of the information for the watersheds and everything. And then this one down here is the Big Creek watershed upstream from the monitoring point. And both of these get water from different sources. The bottom one is got runoff from rangeland and agricultural fields, as well as the towns of Ellis and Yosemite. And the top one, I don't quite remember, but I remember seeing it on the website, so if you want to check that out, the website's right there. So that just kind of shows the depletion and how kind of empty they are. And so it's definitely a big deal that we need to start conserving water and helping for the future so that we can hopefully get this back up to its full potential. You probably saw these signs all over campus. I know I saw a lot of tweets and things like that about them because they were all over. We went through every building in campus. Fort Hays State University was the #1 water user in Hays in 2013. We've actually been in the top 5 for the past 7 years. So we're definitely up there. Obviously, we have a lot of students, a lot of traffic through campus, a lot of water use.
How do you find out that information, like the top net water users? There's like some sort of, is that on like the Hayes website, or is that just kind of through calculations of?
That's from water monitoring in the city.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we contacted the city of Hazel.
Oh, okay.
They had all of that for us. So I guess if you need to know anything, it's kind of public information. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, you can always go to the city and ask about it. So that's definitely one of the reasons that we're trying to hit campus hard and share all of this information and hopefully get students on board, faculty on board, everyone, so that we can start saving some more water on campus and hopefully bring that number down so we're not the number one. So what are some things that you can do? I know some of us might live on campus, some of us might live off campus, but there's things that you can do in both situations to help conserve water. I don't know how long your showers are, but sometimes I used to take showers for like 30 minutes. Now I don't, because I know the impact that makes. Did you have that statistic on how many gallons it takes for 30 gallons?
for an 8-minute shower.
30 gallons for an 8-minute shower. So that's quite a bit of water, times that and make it 30 minutes, a lot of water. So if you just limit your shower, and we actually have some shower timers that we're going to give away at the end, so if you wanted to, they're 5-minute shower timers, which is kind of the average that we hope to stay under. I know with people with a lot of hair, it takes a little bit longer. You got to shampoo, condition, all of that. Washing your hands. I know some people kind of have a habit of just turning the water on and then using the soap, scrubbing, and you're supposed to sing happy birthday twice to wash your hands, whatever. But if you turn the water off while you're washing your hands, imagine the amount of water that saves. So it's not just constantly like running down the sink, gone for nothing, you know. Brushing your teeth, same thing. If you just turn the water off while you're actually brushing, it'll save a lot of water. Preparing your food. I know a lot of people, like when they're preparing vegetables, preparing food, things like that, they'll just kind of put it under the water in the sink and let it go. I know even my family, like for Thanksgiving and stuff, when we're thawing out the turkey, we put it under the water, especially because my mom kind of is forgetful and forgets to do it until the last minute. So she puts it under the water to thaw it out and stuff, and that's very wasteful. And so it's just things like that we need to be more conscious of when we're preparing food and everything, so that we can hopefully save some of that water. Washing your laundry, just be conscious of how much you're putting in a load. Because I mean, I've done it myself too. If I've just got like this one thing that really needs washed for tomorrow, and so I throw it in there with maybe a couple other things to be washed. I'm really trying to work on that, and I think everybody else should too. It's something that wastes a lot of water, doing a lot of loads of laundry. So if you just, you know, kind of pile up your laundry and wash it when you have a full load, it'll save a lot more water than doing all of those little loads of laundry. Especially if you don't have a little sensor. Like my washer is very old, and so it just fills up. It doesn't have a sensor for sensing how much clothes it fills up. And then washing dishes as well. I know some people just like keep the water running while they're washing the dishes. I was actually raised in my family, we fill up the sink and then just use that water until it's nasty and won't wash the dishes anymore. So just don't like keep the water running. Try and be conscious of how much water you're using. Fill up the sink, wash the dishes, empty it. Don't just keep the water running. So that's some things that you can do whether you're on or off campus. I know the washer and dryers are kind of small and you can make Midas. I understand your problems. So you kind of have to do a small load there. But there's some simple things that you can do.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I don't know if everybody's like this, but if you want to wash your hands in warm water,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you have to turn it on and it takes 30 or 40 seconds before the hot water gets there. I was wondering how much water is wasted that way. Have anybody ever looked at that?
Depends upon what your faucet says. Most new faucets, if you replace your old ones, it tells you 1.5 gallons per minute, 2 gallons per minute. If you look on the rim of that faucet, it'll give you a gallon. If it doesn't have any numbers, it's using a lot of water. So if you live in the city of Hayes, you can go to the city hall and get low flow shower heads that you can replace for free. You can get faucet aerators, and those are things you can get at city hall if you live in Hayes for free. You have to give an address.
It looks like the water you're wasting would be, you know, the water that's in the pipe that is cooled in between the hot water heater. It wouldn't really have much to do with the flow rate, would it? It would just be how much cold water is in that water line.
Actually, you can, if you insulate all your piping, you can actually improve your timing and receiving hot water and reduce your waste of water while you're waiting for it to warm up.
I could see if you're if there's a lot of people in your household, that might be true.
Yeah.
But if you live by yourself, it's probably going to be cooled off even with an insulator.
Yeah.
It just looks like somebody could invent something that at the faucet heats the water up right there. And that would save a lot of
You
energy
can
and
do
water.
instant, there is instant hot water.
Yeah,
There is.
there's
Yeah.
little
It's very
heaters, yeah.
costly, it costs more electricity.
In South America, they have water heaters that sit at the shower or sit at
That's
the
another one.
sink.
Several little hot water heaters by each of the faucets.
Yeah, that's something that you actually have, just kind of like those instant water heaters, so that when it hits your sink, it's hot. They do have those. I don't have one. I would love to have one, but
No.
I don't. So yeah, that's definitely an option. It's kind of hard for suggestions there, because, I mean, I wash my hands in freezing water all the time. It's not fun. It's a little bit
Yeah,
cold.
in the summer's
so-
not bad, but
Yeah,
today,
yeah.
I was watching a home improvement show on one of the home networks. They do have a deal now. I don't know how much it is, but they say it's fairly cheap, and I don't even know what it's called, but they showed it in one of the greatest things that is about it. It cuts off the water at the main pump until it hits a certain temperature, and then it lets all the water go. And so it would just stop the water, and it would hold it until it gets warmed up enough, and then whatever was in the pipe, yeah, it's probably gonna come out cold or whatever, but it should be hot within a few seconds instead of like 40 seconds or whatever. So that's one thing that they showed, and that's a new thing that was on there, and I thought, man, what a cool invention. So they do have little trinkets here and there that are not as costly as other things. So yeah.
Yeah. That was actually something she brought it up that I was going to mention to you guys. If you know where to get those type of faucets and things like that you can use. We actually gave away quite a few of them during our 310 project and all of the different things that we did. You can go to the City of Hayes. They have a little form you can just fill out with your address and your name. And you can get, I actually got some, like you can get a low flow shower head for your house. And then they have a few different types. And you can get little sink aerators, and those actually help a lot because they aerate the water through with the water. So you say the water through with the water? The air through with the water, so that it kind of diffuses that a little bit as you're getting water. And I use it at my house, and I love it, especially because it has a little rotating head, so you can rotate it around. It's kind of neat. So you can get all of those at the City of Hayes for free, and it really does help out a lot. I know if a lot of students are renting or on campus, it's probably not a very good thing to do. I don't know if they would like that. But in your homes, I mean, even if you put like the sink aerator on, your landlord is likely not going to care because it's not going to be damaging or anything. It's just things like maybe replacing the shower head, things like that you might want to talk to your landlord a little bit about. Just bring up to him how much water it's going to save, him, her, whoever, how much water it's going to save, and hopefully kind of plead a case with them. You can start saving some water in your apartments too, apartments or houses. This is something fun that I just wanted to kind of show you guys because I found it online. Actually, gracelinks.org is the link down there. And it's just showing how much it takes to actually process and make these different foods and stuff that we eat and use every day. The most was definitely chocolate. It takes 3,170 gallons just to make some chocolate. And I'm not saying like stop eating chocolate, it takes too much water. No, we all like chocolate. We all like to eat steak. We all use paper. So I'm not saying like stop using those things. I'm just saying be conscious of what it is taking to make all of these items. And it's just kind of interesting to see how much water is used in the processing of all this and in the creation of these. So it's kind of neat. These are some fun things that I found. Actually, most of them I found on the New York Times. So it's pretty fun. Go Dirty for the Drought is actually something that a reader brought up in the comments of a New York Times article that I thought was very fun. And so I'll go ahead and bring that up so that you guys can see it. It's actually out of LA, but you don't have to be in LA to sign up. I signed up, and so I should be getting my cool little sticker in the mail here in about a couple weeks. Basically what it's called is Go Dirty for the Drought. You're just kind of taking a pledge to not wash your car for 60 days. It's just your car. It's not like you're not showering for 60 days. It's just your car. You can go dirty for a little bit. I can't tell you the last time that I washed my car because I don't see the point in it because it wastes a lot of water, and I'm just a college student driving my car around dirty. It's all right. So this is kind of neat. You can put the sticker on your car, take the pledge, sign up. You can tweet a picture, whatever, and they'll put it on the website. And it is out of Los Angeles, but you can sign up. They'll send you a sticker wherever. I signed up this morning, and then they sent me an email. They're like, it'll be here in 1 to 2 weeks. So I was like, oh, I got a sticker. So that's something fun that I wanted to show you guys. There's things like this all around the United States. You know, there's active movements to save water and raise awareness for water conservation everywhere. And some of them are pretty fun, you know. So you can join in with that. And then here's another article that I found from the New York Times. New York Times is a pretty good resource for finding articles, different things on water conservation. And these are all, a lot of these pertain to different cities and what different cities are doing to conserve water and raise awareness for water conservation. And so I just think that they're pretty neat and setting examples for other cities to be able to do the same thing and save some more water. So the city of Phoenix actually uses wastewater to feed man-made wetland complex known as Tres Rios. So that's pretty neat and something that they use to conserve water. The city actually reduces indoor water use over time because they implement like a modest list of rules. Some neighborhoods, they say that some neighborhoods are pretty lush, but then in the outer rings, there's a lot of rocks and dirt and things that they use rather than like grass that needs watered, you know, so that they can still make the landscaping look nice and still make everything look nice, but not have to use that much water. And I know the hospital, Hayes Med, actually has been implementing like different grasses and things that don't take a lot of water, and there's actually signs up that say, you know, like, excuse us right now, we're just trying to implement things to save a little bit of water. So they've got some stuff going on right now with the new grasses that are popping up and everything that don't take as much water to survive. That's actually the Tres Rios wetlands, and so it's just kind of showing the wetlands and what they use. That's a spokesperson for the Water Services Department. They're going through the wetlands. They use a system of canals that crisscross the city, and so they use that to move their water along. Let's see. And then they do have, like I was just talking about the grasses and things, they are also using different kinds of greenery, obviously cacti, that don't take as much water to survive. So, I mean, you can still make things look nice, but not have to water them every single day. And then, yeah, this is just kind of showing what the city of Phoenix is doing, and just kind of reiterating that they're trying to save some water there. So that was just a cool thing that the New York Times put out, that's just showing another city and how they're trying to save water. And this one's very interesting. Okay, I don't know what that is. This one, a city in California is actually actually this was a long time ago, so, but they have this new plant that they're trying to take all this sewage water and turn it into viable drinking water. So they have this plant that they set up and everything, and it just kind of tells about the plant and how they turned it on, how they got things going, and it is an old article, so obviously it's been running for a few years now. But it was pretty neat just to see how the city is trying to find new ways of implementing water conservation and trying to get us some new viable drinking water, because that is one of the issues that has come up with, obviously, our water running out, needing to find drinking water. So that was a pretty neat one. And I have all these links if you'd like to read it in full. It's a pretty lengthy article, but it was very good. So. That's a lot of fun.
Anybody know what Hayes does with effluent water? student wife.
Goes to Big Creek,
It actually waters the golf course and the sports fields. And they have a permit to divert that water, to treat it, to come back. They also use it to water all the median, trees, flowers, the parks. If you go down to the Parks Department, over here on the bypass, there's a sign that says affluent water, do not drink. And it does, part of the affluent water goes into Big Creek and goes down to the city of Russell. The city of Russell picks that up, retreats it, and drinks it, mixes it with well water. So, and just for your information, K-State drinks it first and we flush it and we give it to KU. So, and it's just because of the way the systems work. Just like Hayes is using it first, then it goes to Russell.
So they'll move to Russell then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lawrence
You don't want
uses
to anyway.
it and gives it to Kansas City. Kansas City uses it, gives it to St. Louis. So it's not something that most of us think about, or that most of us want to think about using affluent water that's going to come back out of our tap. But every glass of water, whether it's a bottled water or something that's come out of a well or a tap, at some point has probably been through a toilet.
Kind of the last thing that I have for you is this little video, and it's actually from, where did I say it was from?
PBS.
No, the city, but yeah. Yeah, it's from PBS. It'll mention the city in here. Yes, Tucson, Arizona. And so it's a pretty neat little video about this family that's actually using half the water that the family of 4 uses from all of their conservation efforts.
Today, the average American family of 4 uses 300 gallons of water a day, enough to fill this bathtub 20 times. In Tucson, Arizona, at the Casa del Agua, or House of Water, a conventional home has been retrofitted with water-saving devices to see just how much an average family could save. Glenn and Catherine France have lived here for 10 years, raising their family and monitoring every drop of water.
Here at the Casa del Agua house, we use about half of what a typical home uses. That water is
Water-saving devices to
water
see
that
just
is
how much an average family could save.
We use gray water, which is the water from the kitchen sink, the bathtub, the shower, and the washing machine.
Fixtures have been equipped with low-flow shower heads and faucets. Recycled gray water and rainwater collected from the roof irrigate the family's xeriscape garden. Overwatering a lawn is the single biggest household waste of water. One of the best ways homeowners can conserve is to try a landscaping idea called xeriscape. It involves selecting plants, trees, and ground cover native to the region, or that require only small amounts of water, like buffalo grass. Studies show that the best way to save water indoors is to replace the old 6-gallon per flush toilet with a new 1.6-gallon model, saving 21 gallons per person per day. Cities like Los Angeles are looking for ways to reduce the water they use. The Metropolitan Water District works with local groups like Mothers of East Los Angeles to encourage residents to install low-flow toilets. Started by Juana Gutierrez, the organization is now run by her daughter, Elsa Lopez.
We have given approximately about 85,000 toilets, and that would be a savings of 7.6 billion gallons of water a year.
People bring in their old water-guzzling toilets and exchange them for the new low-flow models. Residents benefit by saving on their water bills. And the Mothers of East LA get $25 for each old-fashioned toilet they collect for the city. The crushed toilets become rope beds for freeways. The new toilets save the city 8 million gallons a day.
So that just kind of shows how it all ties in, how another city is doing it, trying to save some water, and that's just some different. Okay. It's just some different things that cities are doing. I think that's the last thing that I kind of formally have for you up here. Just kind of get you thinking about things that you can do in your own household, on campus, wherever you are, to save water. So I have some pamphlets up here actually that are some things that Stacy brought. We have some shower timers to give away, things like that. So if anybody wants one, we have some. Does anyone have any questions for us?
Has there been any talk on campus about like reducing like just watering costs? Like, because I know like just having like using just like for watering the lawns and stuff, that uses quite a bit of water per day. Like I think I've read estimates like almost 20,000 gallons per day, like to water the entire campus. And has there been any talk on campus that you guys know of about like reducing or like going to more like the xeriscape landscaping? Has there been any talk of that here on campus? Because I know.
I'm actually not sure about that. I know last semester we worked a lot with Dr. Martin, trying to talk to her about getting some things changed on campus, but we were focusing more on the residential life area, and then kind of on the union, so we didn't really mention that too much because we were trying to focus on that. It fell through halfway through our project, and we weren't able to change over McMinus to low-flow shower heads and things. So I'm not sure. Have you heard anything about any of that?
Fort Hays has private wells as well.
Okay, so Fort Hays.
So whether it's Fort Hays, whether it's homeowners, there's some misconception that it doesn't matter if I'm using a private well because I'm not affecting a water supply. The water supply in that private well is the same water supply across the region. And a lot of homeowners in the city of Hays, private wells have ran dry in the last 3 years. So as of this point, I don't know that there's any hard talk of it. When the students and myself met with President Martin, one of the things that she's looking at, and her plan was to start it in 2015, was overall strategic plan for the campus, and one of the things that she wants to discuss is water conservation type of efforts. But I think one of the things that's going to help her make some of that happen, it's going to have to come from students and faculty saying, we don't have to have a bright green lawn in the middle of campus. We're okay with doing a lawn conversion to put in buffalo grass or Bermuda grass, the warm season grasses that don't have to have the water out here. If you look in some of the plantings in the flower beds, those are native species that you'll see. Just as Ashley mentioned, if you go to Hays Medical Center, a lot of that area is xeriscaping. It is native species to western Kansas that can handle the drought. The city of Hays right now is doing a lawn conversion program, and they're going to pay $1 per square foot if you're willing to take out cool season grasses and or landscaping that is water intensive. So if you do that and it takes, then the city will come back and inspect it after the fact, and there's $1,000 for a homeowner. So if it's something that you're looking at, that's $1,000 can go a long ways in a landscape, plus the money that you'll save on the water bill monthly.
What are the downsides to converting to buffalo grass, other than just the expense? Is it thought to be less aesthetically pleasing?
Against your typical lawn, like you see textbook, what you think of a lawn when somebody says your bright green lawn. Yeah, that is the downside. But I just helped my friend plant in buffalo grass, and he is like very pleased with how thick it's coming up. And buffalo grass is something you only mow once or twice a year, so that also is an added benefit because it grows a lot less. But it's just some people enjoy having a lawn that you maintain. I know a lot of people that enjoy it, the feel of the grass, the smell of mowing it. I mean, they get enjoyment out of that, so it just depends on your own personal taste. I mean, that.
Buffalo grass is native, and it can handle the heat, it can handle the wear and tear, and you can have a beautiful buffalo grass lawn. There are examples in Hays that we can take you and let you see a beautiful buffalo grass lawn. No, it is not going to be bright green, but it still has a green color even during a drought situation. It's a mindset change, knowing that you have to change that. Buffalo grass, once it's seeded, you can have very little weeds. Buffalo grass does not need fertilized. So that's a dual thing. You're saving the environment and protecting what's going in water quality side downstream into somebody's drinking water supply. There's less maintenance and it does not have to have the water. So.
One of the other points that some people argue for the other, which they are resistant to change, is because of the shorter growing season. Like it's green for a shorter amount of time as opposed to like a fescue or a bluegrass. They can almost, with enough moisture, they can be green throughout the year, or at least 9 months of the year, where the like buffalo grass and fescue there, they start turning yellow, start losing their green color maybe in September or October.
So you're saying buffalo grass stays greener?
No.
Oh.
It's for a shorter period of time.
Oh, for a shorter period of time?
Yeah, they start going dormant earlier.
So would that be a disadvantage?
To some people it is. That's part of their reasons why they don't have it converted, because of that.
Right, okay.
And it's not only thinking about conserving water for the environment. You can also think about it in the fact that, I mean, our landlord pays our water bill, but everyone else has to pay their water bill unless you're living under a landlord, and you save a lot of money on your water bill by not watering your grass all the time because it's not quite as green as you want it, or like using the dirty car challenge. You can save a lot of water, because I know my dad used to try and get me to go out and wash his car all the time when I was a kid, and so you can save a lot of water by not doing that as well, because I know when I was a kid I just threw the hose on the ground and ran off or scrubbed his car or whatever and let the water run, you know. So you can save a lot of money from not doing that, not watering grass. So it's not only that it's going to save the environment, it's going to help conserve water, but you're also saving yourself some money as well.
Are there lawn restrictions in Hayes? Because I know I've read an article, it was in Wichita, this man, he pretty much just, instead of having like grass out in his front yard, he just made his entire lawn into a garden. I remember there was a house here in Hayes that actually, when I was younger, I'd see it, like every summer they'd just have a big old garden in their front lawn that just took up the entire thing. But I was wondering if there's like, because I know, like I haven't seen it, like it was only there for a few years, and then I was like read controversy about people in Wichita and stuff actually having, like, you have to maintain your lawn to a certain way. You can't, like, because instead of like having a garden in your front lawn, it was like overgrown and there was like just it would look like unsightly, I guess. Like, is that more towards like local, like community restrictions, or is that like, or like ordinances? Have
a garden in a front yard. If you have a nuisance, I mean, city's going to come and visit with you, and just
how
as
do
if
they, like, I don't know, just like the whole, like how do they declare it to be?
Well, there's ordinances that certain things have to be taken care of and have to be represented a certain way. And right now, new construction, you can only have so many square foot of cool season type of plants. So they're changing things. It's just that we've had so many years that there haven't been ordinances. And as we move to more water conservation type of systems, they're going to have to change those.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, if you have specifics, you'll have to ask. But we have 2 or 3 yards in Hayes that have AstroTurf in their front yard. So if you see, like today, if you drive by on a couple streets and you see bright green, that's your first clue that it's AstroTurf. And that is not a cheap conversion. And the other thing, AstroTurf has a tendency to get really hot in the summer. So maybe you're saving on a water bill, but you're pushing your electricity bill as that reflects off that AstroTurf.
What's your house?
So you each have a survey and a pencil. If you don't have a survey, please get one. That helps the city of Hayes and the team look at water conservation, what you're doing, and it also makes you aware maybe of some simple things that you can do tied to water conservation. And then we just put them in the Survey Monkey and it generates more data for the city commission to look at. I was just at a conference and that video there is obviously pretty old. You can tell by his clothes and his glasses, but last week I was in a conference in Albuquerque, and the city of Phoenix uses 160 gallons per person per day. Tucson uses 130. Anybody know what the city of Hayes is?
300 or something.
Huh?
300 or something.
City of Hayes is 95 gallons per person per day. So for
We should get an
Tucson
award.
and Arizona being in a desert and in a very dry region that have majority of the time less average rainfall than what we have, the city of Hayes has a much better conservation program in place. And when you think about 95 gallons of water a day, to some of us that seems like a lot, to some of us that doesn't seem like very much. But you think about if you take 2 showers a day, how many times you go to the bathroom, what you cook with, what you clean with, when you wash laundry, that's an average. So it was a shock to us at that conference that Arizona itself was actually using more water than what we were using in the Midwest.
And that includes what we water our lawn with, the 90?
Yep.
Pretty good.
Did
there are,
anybody
like-
have a chance to compare the plans to see what was the reason?
No, it was just a speaker that was talking out there, so.
Part of their expense is that quite a few, majority of the homes have small swimming pools.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of truth to that.
And the city of Hayes does have like ordinances and stuff. When you're building a home, you have to have certain things put in place in your home for water conservation, local shower heads, things like that. But all of those, I mean, there's a lot of older homes in Hayes that a lot of them don't have all of that. So that's what we just kind of want to spread awareness throughout campus and Hayes. So hopefully we can get more people on board, and then we could be less than 95.
There are toilet rebate programs through the city of Hayes too. I think you can get $150 per household or I think it's per toilet back. If you go buy a new toilet, bring them the receipt, they will pay you to do that. Same with washing machine rebates. If you plant native trees, there's a tree rebate program. Not many of us have urinals in our houses, but I think for a urinal it's a $300 rebate. So if you work at an establishment or something like that the urinal is old, ask them to go, because you can buy, I think, the new urinal for $350, and I think you can get the rebate for $300. So in a couple of months, you could probably save the $50 on a urinal for the amount of water. Campus, we've looked at it because we know there's lots of urinals on campus. The leadership team talked about what if we stood in the union and tried to figure out how many times urinals were flushed. I mean, I think we'd be shocked at the amount of water moving through those urinals that were put in the 60s, I think.
And I was going to throw this in here, I didn't have the time to, but we actually did a survey last semester of all of the students on campus, not all of them, but we passed the survey around. We got quite a few responses. I don't remember that total number. More than 500? Yeah, it was over 500, that's for sure, of how many we got back. And the results were interesting, to say the least. A lot of students recognized that it's our job to conserve water. It's on us as a person to conserve water, but a lot of them would also say, like, how concerned are you with conserving water? And they would say they're at like a 1 or 2. So they know that it's on them, but they're not quite as concerned as they probably should be. So that was definitely something that was interesting to us as we did the survey. And we asked about like the length of your showers, things like that, and there were some pretty long showers on there. So that's something that was interesting to us, that we're trying to get pushed out into campus and to the students, that we need to start conserving water and let you all understand that it's your job, and you need to. I mean, it's obviously not only our job. We have to look at city ordinances, the way the city can help implementing all of these things. But as a person, it is your job to monitor what you use in your own home and how you use it. And so everybody recognizes that, but a lot of people were like, not too terribly concerned yet. Well, you should be. So that's kind of what we've been trying to push since the beginning of last semester with our 310 project.
What do you guys pay for your cell phone bill a month?
About 210, I think.
Ooh.
For how many phones?
2 phones.
Okay.
Unlimited everything.
Okay. In America in general, the average person pays, for a family of 4, about $200 a month. So $2,400 a year for cell phones. We did a water pricing survey from Waukene to Ellsworth, Waukene, Ellis, Hayes, Russell, to look at what water. The average household of 4 uses 6,000 gallons a month from October through March, so before we're doing any outside watering. For those 6,000 gallons, it averages $17.90 in Waukene to $55 and some change in Ellsworth. In Hayes, it's about 27. So when Tom gets a water bill increase because something has to change, he's not going to be very happy. But if his cell phone bill goes up, we're probably, for the most part, going to live with that because we think we have to have the cell phones to function. But I'm pretty sure we have to have the water. So there's a little bit of disconnect on what we need versus what we want. And I'm not saying that these things don't make our life a lot easier at times, but when you look at that water bill, and that doesn't include trash or sewer or any of those type of things, that's just the actual drinking water that you need. So in Hayes, $27 for basic water, $55 in Ellsworth, but you're paying $210 for 2 phones a month. So think about that. When you guys go out to the queue or you go to taco shop, what's it cost? So when you look at water and you look at what we think we have and what we do, all of us, every one of us, even myself, even the students that were involved in the class, there's days we waste water very easily. You know, if you don't drink all that bottled water, what do you do with it? Most people throw it in a trash can. It'd be much better to walk out the Union, dump it on the grass. Is that going to make a whole lot of difference on that grass? Probably not, but it's much better than putting it in the trash can that's going to end up at the landfill. There's lots to think about when it comes to water.
And as a student, there's a lot we can do. There's a lot of us. There are a lot of students that come to this campus, that live on this campus, that live around this campus. There's a lot we can do to make a change if we all just focus ourselves toward that change. Yeah.
Just leave the surveys on the table.
If anyone wants any of the shower timers or anything, they're pretty neat, and they're just like the little
Suction cup.
Yeah, with the sand. So if you want those, they're pretty useful in the shower.
All right. Thank you guys so much.